Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk, Real Sports with your host, Anthony Sanchez, and my co-host, Michael Sanchez. Well, this has been a very, very interesting week and a very exciting week, not just for our Dolphins, but for all NFL 32 teams, especially about a good 7 teams out there that really almost hit the lottery with some of these free agents. We have a lot to talk about. And I want to know your take on who do you think
All I want to say is thank you, Dennis Hickey, for listening to me last week. It was amazing that you actually heard me when I said go out and get Cortland Finnegan. It is going to be a great season for these Miami Dolphins, signing 7 free agents, 2 of their own. How are you feeling right now? I'm so excited right now, fellas.
I'm definitely excited. As you can see, I'm wearing my colors today. It feels like a victory already what Dennis Hickey has done. If anybody's been reading my blogs, then you know what I've been talking about. I said, give Dennis Hickey a chance. Everybody was going down his throat before he even did anything when we signed him. And look at him now. I mean, I know it's only free agency, and we're gonna pretty much evaluate him during the draft. But this is a good start. You see, the man had a plan. He put it together. He hit every need possible that you can think of. He hit more defensive tackles than we thought. I mean, he brought back Randy Starks, who we all pretty much thought at one point he was gone along with Soliai. He went to get Brandon Albert, the left tackle bookend that we needed to protect Tannehill. I mean, we can go down the list. Who else do you like on this list?
Honestly, one guy that we just finished signing was Shelly Smith. Love this guy. Very versatile guard. Plays the left, plays the right. Can come in there, give us a little bit of rotation. He's 6'4", 312 pounds, 26 years old. So these coaches have a lot to work with. They can develop him. And next thing you know, he can probably be our starter next in the future.
Well, definitely see that he went young. And he also went young and didn't overpay. I know some people are going to say, oh, Brandon Albert got a little overpaid. Let me tell you something. This is free agency. It's demand and supply, or supply and demand. And you know what? You're going to overpay for a couple guys here and there. If you want them, you got to pay for them.
Hey, look what happened with Eric Decker. Eric Decker, $31 million. A lot of people are saying they overpaid, but it's what's out there right now.
Hey, he was probably one of the best in free agency. I mean, you got to take what you have to get. You don't have a receiver because you let go of Santonio Holmes. You got to go get one. You go and get Eric Decker.
Coming back to the Dolphins and touching on Shelly Smith also. You know, his rookie season with the Texans, he played with Benson, and now Benson being the coach for the Miami Dolphins as well. It's another key thing for them.
Yeah, he was there with the Texans, and, Benson brings that zone blocking scheme, which is going to help us because we're definitely putting an athletic line together.
And it looks like they picked up some run blockers there. Seems like they might be moving in the direction of trying to run the ball a little more this season.
What I like when you talked about the signing of Cortland Finnegan, that locks up our corner spots. I mean, although I got to point out, he was not guaranteed a starting spot. He was told that he has a 2-year, $11 million contract, but with the clause of it's an open competition between him, Will Davis, and Jamar Taylor.
It's interesting you mentioned that because I did hear an audio tape of him today. You do know that he was his own agent, didn't go out and get an agent because he said that there's no agent out there that will ask the questions that he can ask, that he needs to ask. He says, sure, agents are needed your first 2-4 years of the game because you're starting to get familiar with the business side of it. But he was letting everybody know that definitely he wants to come in here. He does not want any hand-me-downs. He wants to compete, and if he can, help out these young guys like Will Davis and Jamal Taylor.
Well, what I definitely like about the Brandon Albert signing is the guy wants to be here. He wants to be here. The guy was so excited just to get down here, get in front of the camera, talk to the fans.
Well, Joe Philbin wanted him last year.
Yeah, well, that tells you what happened there. The whole Ireland thing, he blocked him, and look, now we got him. Look what happens when 2 guys work together. I mean, 3 technically become Dane Aponte, who is the one handling the contracts and basically the salary cap. Well, so far I got to say she's doing a good job because we've signed 7 free agents total, and we still got money now for our draft.
And if you look at this, people, it's showing you there is a track pattern here of what's being signed, and that's physical, aggressive, football-hungry players. These are guys that just want to be on the field. They're trying to play. They have played even injured. If you go down that list, most of those players have started more than 90% of their career.
Oh, I mean, he's putting one heck of a free agency class here together. I mean, you can't beat it. He hit his left tackle. He hit his defensive tackles. He got his corners. He re-signed Brent Grimes.
Louis Belmont,
which
take care of the safety.
Thank you for re-signing Brent Grimes. That was just one of the things I really wanted you to do because he deserved it.
He opened up. That was the splash right there when he re-signed Grimes, and he just went down the list, hitting everything one by one. Which brings us to that number 19 pick is going to be very interesting.
Now they have a lot of choices. They can listen to other teams if they want to. They can go for the best player available. They can even maybe look at if they still want to, which you still would want to add depth at the offensive line. If you got a guy like Zach Martin, who's there, a versatile guy who could play left tackle, right tackle, guard, left guard, right guard.
You got Yankee.
You got David Yankee from Stanford. I mean, they're gonna have so many options now. You can go the big bodied receiver if the perfect one is there for you. You can wait on that if you want. I mean, what they've done here is made the draft very interesting for us to watch and see what they're going to do.
All I can say is salutes to you, Dennis Hickey.
Dennis Hickey, congratulations, and I'm glad that I stuck up for you and that you're making me look like a genius right now. But let me talk about a couple other teams that to me have made some really good moves. You know, quietly, believe it or not, I think the Falcons have made some very solid moves. You know, they went ahead and signed their biggest issue was the defense last year. You know, they couldn't stop anybody. And although they took one of our own, you know, I got to, say thank you for your service here. 7 good years he spent with us, Paul Soliai.
He will definitely help them in stopping the run. They had a big problem with that.
You know, I'll definitely miss him. I wanted him back, but hey, it's a business. You know, he's got to do what he needs to do, and the Dolphins needed to do what they needed to do, and it worked out for both sides. So hey, can't complain there. They re-signed their defensive tackle Corey Peters. They went out a former first rounder for the offensive line because Matt Ryan got hit quite a bit last year. Gabe Karimi from the Bucks. They signed a prized guard from the Eagles, John Asamoah. They re-signed their defensive tackle, Jonathan Babineau. And they got Tyson Jackson from the Chiefs as a free agent defensive end.
Yeah, overall I'd say they weren't a huge splash, but they made solid moves. Correct, solid moves. That would be the correct thing to say. The team that I like, that you loved last year, and you actually picked them for the Super Bowl, was the Broncos. Let me tell you, everybody knows I love defense. And the Broncos, they were smart. They saw what beat them last year, and they went out and they made a splash, huge splash, by signing DeMarcus Ware, who I think is even an upgrade from Elvis Dumervil, who they had in the past. They go ahead and get Aqib Talib, who right now is arguably one of the top 5 corners in the league.
Now he's up there with Reeves.
And you go ahead and get T.J. Ward as a safety from the Browns.
Physical safety. I mean, the guy plays.
They know what they're doing, and let me tell you, as of right now, the Broncos are putting themselves back into that Super Bowl.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got to give, I'm a big Dan Marino fan, but I got to give John Elway his credit right now. He's definitely doing it in the management office.
Hey, the guy did it while he played.
Hey, and no, definitely a great quarterback. But I mean, right now, how many players can go from being a player to a front office guy and be successful? You see many people like Michael Jordan. Amazing, the best player in basketball, not so good in the front office.
Nah, Vegas draws Jordan away from that.
Too many, you got to give John Elway his credit. I mean, he's become like the Pat Riley. He's over here convincing people just to show up and play for him.
Hey.
He's selling people on the Kool-Aid of Peyton Manning's last ride. They got to get him one more Super Bowl ring. We do know his time is running out.
And, a lot of people out there in Denver are concerned that they lost Eric Decker, but hey, you got Peyton Manning. This guy turns anybody into a somebody. I mean, Julius Thomas, this guy
came out of nowhere.
Don't worry about it, guys. You'll be all right. And I'm pretty sure with John Elway in that office and everything, they will go ahead and replace him with another receiver. And
let me tell you who I really like him, because this is one of my favorite quarterbacks right now in the NFL, is Andrew Luck. And let me tell you, after the breaking news last night, he got Hakeem Nicks to join that team, and that's going to give him a big body to join Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Hilton, Kobe Fleener, and they still got Trent Richardson. They re-signed Ahmad Bradshaw. The guy, the offensive line is coming along, but I think they're really going to hit on the draft on the offensive line for them.
And they still have the other big tight end opposite of Kobe Fleener.
That's right. A very solid guy. Played for Clemson. So, we're going to see what they can do, but definitely I'm pretty sure he got excited with the Hakeem Nicks signing.
Well, one thing I do like about the Colts, I've always been a big fan of Andrew Luck, especially he reminds me so much of John Elway that you were talking about right now. But the key thing that the Colts did here, again, defense was their knack. And they went out, they got themselves a very solid middle linebacker in Dakota Jackson. And they went out and they got themselves a pass rusher in Arthur Jones.
Well, and they re-signed Vontae Davis, which was a big need because they also lost Antoine Bethea, though. So that's going to kind of hurt them. So they're going to have to look into maybe the draft, or maybe look at a free agent safety out there. If there's still one available. There might not be any, because it was a frenzy in free agency. People just started getting players left and right. I mean, every minute there was a new signing.
Now, I know we were talking big about the Dolphins earlier, but the Dolphins are going to be circling 2 games this season, and that's going to be the Patriots at home and the Patriots away, because they made a big splash. They go ahead, they lose Akeem Talib. We all say woohoo, and they go ahead and get Darrelle Revis.
And that's not enough. Then they get Darrelle Revis, and now we find out they get Browner.
Brandon Browner, and we saw what Brandon Browner can do in Seattle.
The only thing is that he's going to be suspended for the first 4 games, but that's all right, because they know that pretty much they're going to be winning. They don't really need him at the beginning of the season. Where they're counting is for that guy towards the back end and for the playoffs, because the Patriots are assuming they're pretty much going to be in the playoffs again.
And Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, I mean, you saw what they did last year with basically the whole defense injured.
But I'll tell you this though, if Gronkowski's not healthy, and they don't add some weapons for Tom Brady, let me tell you, that offense, that was the first time I've seen that offense look so-so.
Hey, as shaky as they were, they still made the playoffs.
No, they made the playoffs, but, it was not, they were winning games by like 16-3, 16-10. It wasn't the typical Patriots that you're used to. Tom Brady looked frustrated.
Hey, like they say, at the end of the day, winning is winning, and I don't care how you get it done, the Patriots got it done.
Yeah, they got it done, and then they lost. And then, you ask Belichick, why did they lose? They couldn't do anything on offense. And what does that mean? The ownership is not spending the money. I mean, Kraft has been known to be a little cheap. He doesn't re-sign his player. That's why Revis left.
Hey, everybody uses
Talib left, because Talib was not going to get paid what he thought he was worth. So that's why he left. The Buccaneers, believe it or not, it was not the biggest splash, but the Buccaneers made some solid moves. Lovie Smith now the head coach there. He brings Michael Johnson, the defensive end from the Bengals. He gets Alternaun Burner from the Titans, which is a physical corner, really good corner, made the Pro Bowl last year. He's a good returner as well. They signed Josh McCown to go ahead and battle with Mike Glennon. They don't want to let Mike Glennon think he just has the job outright. Josh McCown showed up for the Bears last year.
Very true. And it goes to tell you something else. It's the Bucks, and they made pretty good moves. It goes to tell you Dennis Hickey probably left some good experience down there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Dennis Hickey came from over there, and he had signed some good players for them too last year. That's where Golden came. They had gotten Doug Martin also while he was there. So all in all, this has been a crazy, crazy week in free agency, and I don't really think it's done yet. I mean, there's some players out there still that that can still be signed. You got Jared Allen still waiting. There's rumors that he's going to either wait till after the draft, or you might just call it quits. He says that he has nothing to worry about, that he's willing to retire if he doesn't get what he thinks he's worth.
Well, if he does go out, he went out on the high end, because the guy does play the game at the highest level possible.
Oh, yeah, Jared Allen's one of the best. I mean, he came out of nowhere, small school. I mean, Jared Allen, my salutes to you. You've been one heck of a player. If you call it quits, hey, you had a hell of a career, but I still think that you can go ahead and re-sign with somebody. I think Julius Peppers is still out there.
Well, no, Julius Peppers actually just finished signing today with the Green Bay Packers.
Woo, look at that.
That is going to be huge for the Packers.
Wow, and if Julius Peppers can even give him half of what he used to be, and then you bring back a healthy Clay Matthews, and then they re-sign B.J. Raji to a 1-year deal.
That was big for them as well.
I know Aaron Rodgers is smiling because, that defense let them down a lot.
The only thing that's concerning Rodgers right now is Jermichael Finley. He might actually be signing with the Seahawks. He was still talking to them.
It's a big deal in a way, but not really so much because, they played without Jermichael Finley last year. I mean, and they still were scoring. They just got to add a couple more receivers because Jordy Nelson, he's being like a number 1, but technically he's not really.
And Randall Cobb is
a specialist, third at best. I mean, and they're trying to make him out to be more than that, and he's really not. And then they got James Jones, who's solid, but there's no real star. There's no Greg Jennings, there's no Donald Driver, but they're still scoring points. So that tells you a lot about the Packers. So I think the Packers are going to be okay. And then they found, they got the running back. Eddie Lacy, offensive rookie of the year last year. A heck of a running back. So
it's definitely going to be an interesting season, 2014. Looking forward to that draft and the continuation of this free agency frenzy that's coming to a close.
Oh, and I want to bring up, believe it or not, it was just a couple of players, but there was some solid players, and they got some cap room. So I think they're going to be very active during the draft. Is the Cleveland Browns? They went ahead and also signed Dante Whitner from the 49ers, heck of a safety. And they signed Carlos Dansby, who's a beast at linebacker.
That's huge. He was a Pro Bowler last season.
From the Cardinals. So, you know, those are two good signings, and they cut Brandon Whedon. You know, that's definitely going to open up some cap space. Only after 2 years of being with the team, you know, the new regime.
They actually released both their quarterbacks.
Oh, that's right, Jason Campbell, the backup.
Jason Campbell was released as well.
So, you know, they're either going to go quarterback in the draft, or, well, it's almost like they're going to go quarterback in the draft, but there's nothing in free agency for them, really. I mean, it's going to be an interesting draft, especially with a lot of these top 10 teams. Because, you know, they've addressed some of their needs already, but, you know, they can also make some trades up to get, you know, that one player that they really want. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of trading in this draft going on, because our free agency was so crazy that a lot of teams hit on their needs. But, you know, if you have anything else to add, I mean...
All I have to say is I'm looking forward to the rest of this free agency. Seeing you guys next week.
Well, hey, that does it for our show today with my co-host Michael Sanchez, and I'm your host Anthony Sanchez. Please stay tuned to our next show. Subscribe to our show, and take a look at my blogs, and follow me. Well, thanks a lot for watching Real Talk Real Sports. You have a good weekend. See ya.